Okay, well this is my very first video. And I decided, since I have the table for it, my first video will be making bread. And unfortunately, I already made the dough. So we're going to roll it out, and we're going to put it together, and we're going to put it in a loaf pan. Again, this is my very first video. I'm going to do my best. But I don't have anything to hold the camera in place. So I'm going to have to let you go now and come back once I get all the flour and things all over the table. Well, again, I must not know what I was doing because the pause didn't work. But that's okay. I went ahead and I put my flour down, and I got my handy dandy little rolling pin out. Now, one thing I wanted to point out, in case you didn't already know, most people know, when you make bread, it is imperative that you use bread flour. I can show you the difference on some other video, but it is a huge difference. So this is made from bread flour, and this is just your normal everyday white bread. But we're going to go ahead and take the dough. I'm going to try to take you with me. That we've already let rise, and we punched down once. But this yeast is very happy yeast. We're going to go ahead and knead that a little bit and cut it in half, because we're making 2 loaves of bread today. So let me get it cut in half, and I'll be back. Yeah, I'm not doing something right with the camera, not this. I wanted to say, don't ever panic. If your dough is so sticky and it's sticking to everything, and you end up putting more and more and more flour into it as you go, you want it to have a nice texture. And you want to be able to put it in a nice ball and flatten it out so that you can roll it out. So don't ever think, oh my gosh, I'm putting a lot of flour in here. It doesn't matter. It must be a certain consistency. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it out. And I don't have something that can hold this while I do it. So you're just going to have to trust me. Okay, see, once you get all the sticky out and you have it all, the flour in there, and you have it the right consistency, it rolls out in no time. Now here's the awful part to me. This is the pan we're going to put it in. And you see, to me, that looks god-awful. Now you greased it very well, but I almost threw it away because I thought there was something wrong with it. But my mother told me, you get iron, and that happens, and that's normal. If anybody knows that this is not normal, please tell me, because I'd be happy to get a different pan. But this is the one that I have to work with. Now I'm going to roll this. And the consistency of your bread is so important. So if you start at the very, very, very end, you just want to keep pinching and pinching as you go. Because this is what forms that inner swirl that you see inside of your bread, even that you get at the store. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish pinching up my bread and show you how to seal it off at the very end. And then you're going to have to damp it off, because you're going to have this fit in that pan. So we'll get there in just one moment. Okay, I'm sure that doesn't look like bread to you. It looks like a baguette, but it is not. What I'm going to have to do is I need to look at this. See, when I was a young girl, we didn't have a lot of money. And I thought everybody's mother made their own bread. You have to take a little bit of water just to seal your edges together. This is very, very important. And see, we're going to dampen it off at the end anyway. I'm not worried about that. But I am worried about all the rest of it. So everywhere you have a seal, if you don't want your bread to fall apart when it's baking, you need to make sure that that seal is tight, wet. And you know what? I think I could do this while I have it on. No, I can't. Not gonna do a good job. So let me finish doing all of my sealing and then I'll be back. Okay, I got everything sealed. And as you can see, it's longer than the pan. So what do you think I'm gonna do about that? Well, most certainly, I'm not gonna smush it off and put it under, because I'd have a very funky looking bread. So what I'm gonna do is kind of judge it out. Just maybe this far. Maybe this far. And I'm going to cut that off. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. Okay, now we're upside down. Because I went ahead and cut it off, and you just do this on the other side. Then you take your water. You put your water on your edges here. This too is very important. Do you know? I knew how to make bread without anyone showing me, and I wondered why. And indeed, it was because my mother made it every day. It's almost insulting to me to eat bread out of a package. But cleanliness also means a great deal to me. If my food isn't clean, or if I doubt the person that is making my food is using clean habits, I won't eat their food. I try hard not to hurt their feelings, but most people know. And if I don't want to eat your food, I wouldn't take it personal. I'm just that way. My whole family, well, yes, my whole family's that way. And that's a good thing. No one should be dipping into a sauce and eating it and putting that spoon back in the sauce. That's just nasty. And in these days and age, this day and age, you really want to keep your germs to yourself. So, most important thing in the world, cleanliness, washing your hands. Believe it or not, even though this is wood, I went ahead and used a little bit of bleach water on my rag because I want to make sure it's clean. Now I'm going to have to bunch this up a little bit and put it in there so it can rise again, and I have to make another one. Now I'm not going to let you watch me make the other one because I'm going to wait for this one to rise and show you how I cook it. Now look, he looks so lonely in there. So lonely in there. Actually, it looks like a worm. He looks so lonely. But believe it or not, he's going to grow. And we're going to go make his brother while he rises. And I'll be back. Okay, my little twins are in the oven. Little cricket there. Just a tad there. But you know what? It never comes out perfectly. And if you think it's going to come out perfectly, you're setting yourself up for failure. All you know is it's going to taste good. It's going to look good in the end. And believe me, it will. So we have to let them sit in there for a little while and grow. Well, we tried to go find some old football to watch. And then we're going to have to let it rest. But you're going to be amazed what this looks like when we cook it. I will take another video before I cook it to show you how much it rises. And again, it's imperative that you use bread flour. I tried getting by with the other flour. I made a loaf for my daughter and was almost too ashamed to send it. It almost felt like a rock football. This will be light and fluffy. and you can actually slice it like bread and have a really nice sandwich, which indeed we will be having. Ah, I almost missed one of the most important steps. Do you see the mess that you leave behind? Huh? Well, guess what? That's got to be cleaned up. Not only is it important that you clean before you bake or cook all the surfaces, but indeed, you must clean up your mess so that nobody was ever here. So we're going to do that. Okay. Now you're going to see how I handle. It's not a failure because it's still edible. It's just not perfect. But I don't know what's up with this little fella here. He got a little squirrely on me. I probably tried to pinch him up too tightly. This guy's doing pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and let them continue to rise. And I wanted to show you one more thing that's important. Well, I got my table out, cleaned, and got it back. But remember those ends we cut off? Well, I stick these in the freezer baggie, and I put them in the freezer. Because when I feel like having spaghetti meatballs or lasagna, because I'll make a tray and break it up and put it in there, take a piece out every now and then. I got my dinner roll. And here shortly, I'm going to show you how to make a bread bowl. Because we're going to have beef stew in a bread bowl. I prefer clam chowder, but I don't have any right now. I have beef stew. So maybe tomorrow we'll make beef stew, or the next time I do a video. I meant to do this last time, but I had a lot of cooking to do, and I didn't want to be distracted. I don't care if you like my video or not. I don't care if I did it right. All I care about is whether or not it was enjoyable. And you know what? I'd like it if you did one. Or if you had any suggestions on how to make one. I am always open to suggestions. I just make bread the way my mother showed me how to make bread. I don't know how to make rye bread yet, but oh God, I can't wait. Well, till later. I'm going to go in there and have myself what I would call a cigarette. And what I mean by that is I quit smoking years ago. Ha ha ha. Can't get away from these. So I'm going to go have my chocolate raspberry coffee, have my cigarette, and by that time, my bread should be ready to bake. Okay, sometimes this happens. Okay, from this angle, you'd probably think, oh, that's not so bad. Okay, but I do. Look. You know, they haven't fully... This one, well, you know, because it kind of... I know what happened here. Because I tried to smoosh it together a little bit. I thought I did it subtly. Obviously not. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It'll be good. But when they don't rise like this... Because this is really good yeast. I used it for my daughter, a lot of stuff. I have a solution. They need more humidity. And I didn't put a towel over the top. A lot of times I'll go ahead and put a nice warm towel over the top, wet. But I don't really like that touching my bread. So I'm going to show you the next best thing that I do. Okay. I don't let it come to a complete boil. That's not what I want. What I want is for just to have a little bit. So I don't know if you could see the steam or not, but that's what you want is the steam. And then I take it and I stick it down in here. I don't want it right under my bread, because I don't want it to start cooking my bread. I've done that before. I just want it to put a little... There I go. I just wanted to put a little bit of steam in there because it needs just a little more humidity. And we'll check on this in another, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. I would like it to get a lot more fluffy. And if anything, you'll learn from my mistakes. like that one. And that's okay too. How else are we going to succeed if we don't fail? This will be fine. So, I'll see you in 20 minutes. You know, I really don't know what I'm going to put this video on. But you're probably thinking, oh, I don't think I want to eat that. And I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't either. Unless you put a lot of sugar in it. What this is, I guess, is a little pompouri I make. And I put some cinnamon there, and some nutmeg, and water. And I'll cut up an apple if it's going, you know, starting to turn. And the smell is just heavenly. And I kick it up, you know, to about, I don't know, medium high. And when it just starts to bubble, then I kick it way down to low. And my house smells like Thanksgiving. Okay, well, I'm not too sure what happened here. But that's okay. Sometimes these things do happen. Humidity and weather and all that does play a factor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them out for now. And I'm going to go ahead and heat up the oven. And then we're going to put them in. And we'll see what they do from there. But one thing I love about this oven, I bought this oven myself. I researched it on Consumer Affairs. And I just wanted an oven. Just an oven. And I wanted it to clean itself. So when I'm all done cooking, I'm going to put on the self-clean. And I'm going to go to bed. And then when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to wipe up what ashes are left. This one had the best rating. And I went to go to the store to see if they had it. And guess what? There it was. I couldn't have the floor model, but they happened to have one in the back. And it wasn't very expensive. Okay, now this is just a trick of mine. I'm going to set this for 425. Okay. Now when it hits 425, I'm going to kick it down to 375. And then I'm going to put it in. And then I'll be back with you. Okay, now we've just hit the 425 mark, so you want to kick it down. You're going to let me kick it down. 375. Okay, and as you can see, okay, and this is me. I've already got the pan dirty because it had boiling water in it. And I don't care if it had just boiling water in it. It's dirty. So it's going to have to be clean. So I'm setting myself up for my potato salad. I might as well get the most juice out of this pan before I have to wash it. And we'll do a potato salad one too later. I spend half my life baking. And my best friend in this town said if I was her neighbor, I would drive her absolutely nuts. But this is what I like to do, and it makes me happy. So, we're going to go ahead and put our odd little bread in there. And actually, this one did really grow in size. And I'll tell you something. I always expect it to be perfect. But I also know how to take it when it's not. And I'm telling you something, I think that rack needs to be just a tad lower. So I'm going to look that up really fast before I start cooking this. And I'll be back. No, I was right all along. I don't know why it looks odd to me, but it does. I almost got out the measuring tape, but it's in the middle. So we're going to check on this in 30 minutes. I went ahead and put butter in this instead of lard. Ew. And instead of oil. So it should be really nice. This one didn't have an egg. But anyway, we're going to check on this again. Oh, in about 30 minutes. Then we're going to let it set for a bit. I'll show you. Okay, we got about 6 minutes left, but I'm going to pull them out before then. Okay, like I said, every time something doesn't go right, we try to figure out what went wrong. And I'll tell you what went wrong. I have a bread maker. Love my bread maker. And I put it through its cycle. And I think what I did is it didn't hear the beep. Because the beep starts its rising process. And I'm telling you, I think it's a little too high. Because it ends up killing off part of the yeast. So we're going to do this again. I'm still going to do this video. We're going to do it again. But next time, we're going to sit and listen for that beep. And see if that makes the difference. Because normally this should be up over the top. So we're going to pull these. And we're going to let them sit for a few minutes. And then we're going to put them out on a wire rack. They'll still be good. It's just going to be dense and not quite what I expected it to be. Then again, life is not what we expect it to be. But I'm going to fry us some eggs. I think I'm going to have an egg sandwich with some ham. And I set myself up for the potato salad we're going to make tomorrow. So, we got our apples going. It smells really good. I wish I could tell you it tasted good. I wouldn't know. I never eat it. Sometimes there's some cinnamon sticks in there instead of the cinnamon. You could throw just about anything in there that you like. I just happen to like the smell of apples and cinnamon. Okay, I'm going to pull these out. Okay, hint number 2. When you pull them out, while you're letting them sit, before you put them on the wire rack, do not put them on the burner where the stove heat comes out. Because it will burn the bottom. Not just burn it, but it'll make it hard and it'll make it not as good. So it kind of overcooks it there. So we're going to let them sit here for a few minutes, and then we're going to pull them out and go ahead and put them on the wire rack and show it to you in all its glory. Alright, well, there you go. You got 2 loaves of bread. How long are they going to stay that way? Not very long. Oh boy, do I like nice hot bread with butter. But next time we try it, we'll try it the other way. I haven't gotten into putting the egg whites on top and all that yet because I just haven't. But this is my bread, and next time we'll try better. And tomorrow we'll make potato salad. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I do. Ah, the kitchen is calling me. I do spend most of my life cooking. My friends, my friends gain weight. And I like that.